Hello, hello, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, goedemiddag, good day, guten Tag.
Good afternoon, goeiemiddag, welcome back.
So just now I was with you last time. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say. The way to have fun is to look at your buddy, look at this and say, hang on, what am I seeing? Blue. Still in that. I'm going to knock it off at 12,950, but change my bloody mind. Remember, I was going to cut it to half, change my mind. This is coming off. And the Tesla moved down. I thought, yep, that's looking good. And the jobless claims looking fairly positive with a negative downside. So just to upset the cattle cart, the opposite goes on. And that's trading for you sometimes. There are times I could honestly say it makes no sense. So all I can then construe there is a lot of emotion going on. It's been driven emotionally by rather than actually rational. Because in theory, Tesla, as expected, did pull back on the negative news coming out. And it's not entire bloody Nasdaq, but it's pretty damn powerful. It's a decent sized company. I thought that would drag it down a bit, but look what happened on the Nas on openings. That's why it's very strange. Decided to jump up. I mentioned about the crossing and uncrossing, but even so, that might occur in the first minute, and then it comes off. Oh, the hell, it's gone back up there. Only our wonderful deity knows that, because I certainly do not. So I decided to hold on to it. I think bounce back above 13,000. Still blue, so I can't whinge too much.
I see the old CAD one decided to run in the opposite direction.
The what? Sorry?
The old CAD.
AUD CAD. Is it doing bad things now? Is it? Oh yes, what you mean. Oh bloody hell! I should be stopped out. That. Oh God, you're right there. Of course, yeah, because we've been selling the Canadian. I've been selling the Canadian, and obviously, if you're selling the Canadian, then the Aussie will go up to the other side of the seesaw. Damn, so that's stopped out. Stopped out at 76. Yeah. We shouldn't be talking about it now. It's not 4 o'clock yet, but I'm going to anyway. At least the CAD JPY is coming off a bit, so yeah. Because it was there when we entered. It was there when we entered. Remember that? We thought it was going to, then come back down. And it did. It did. Decided to do that. I think a little bit of weakness in the dollar. If you look at the DXY, the dollar's come off. I think, just as I said before, oil's come off, and the Canadian often follows the dollar in sympathy. Like the puppy dog following the owner. And so as a result, we had a bit. It'd be nice if you can have that jump there, which is what 50 pips. We couldn't get the CAD JPY to come off 50 pips just like that, because that's the one that would nicely, bring it off the other way around. Anyway, still in profit. Okay, 4 o'clock, we get started. Yeah, I have to say, Mr. Murphy of very famous Murphy's Law often plays a part in everything, eh? Okay, yeah, so CAD's coming off. That's this, when was that this morning, right? Yeah, CAD JPY, 99.94. There's 30 pips in profit, nearly 30 pips. If you want, you can start modifying, or if you think it's a bit early, don't, it's up to you. If you want to modify it, but try and keep it about 30 pips. Plus minus. Okay. So at least it'll reduce to taking it out, or if there's a risk, maybe 1 or 2 rand, that's about it. Okay, so anyway, that seems to be coming right. NGAS doing nothing at all, I expect. Let's have a look. No, it's not doing much. So what's a day's run on this thing? About 15 cents. Wow, that's all go, eh? Yeah, leave that alone. GBP CHF, I think is doing some good stuff there. We got it the first time round, had a nice profit, hit the second time, it rallied right back up to another entry. Get these out of the way here, don't see them all the time. And obviously entered again, as you could see a moment ago, and it's coming down nicely. So again, we're in a nice profit, second time around. Thank you very much, Mr. Pound and Mr. Swiss franc. And we're now, what's that now? 70 pips in profit. I presume you all know by now, you're all knowledge enough to know by now that you can modify your stop, protect yourself, not too close. Those are the rules. Modify, but not too close. So maybe you can put it back to about 50. Yeah, 50 will do. 1150. And that's still 30 odd pips just over away. And you still got built in 30 odd pips in profit. Whatever happens, suggest you do it. That's pretty good. Gold seems to be coming right, eh? I modified my stop, but it got to 206, $10 behind. So my stop's now 1996. I got it around about 1990, something maybe $1 higher, around about that level anyway. So that's doing nicely, and I'm protected on that with the profits. So that's doing okay. So yeah, CAD, JPY, GBP, CHF, golding okay. Nasdaq, NGAS doing its normal hovering. WTI, let's have a look at this one. That was another one we got out, but that was when was that one? That was what day? Thursday. That was on Tuesday. Well, that's doing nicely. Just needs to come down another $1 and we'll hit the TP. Just make sure where's the TP. 76.40. Yeah, another $1 and we're gonna hit the TP. 81.05 entry. Nearly $4 in profit per barrel. So I'm assuming you've all modified your stop. You can modify again, keep it $2 away. Make it 79.40. In fact, sod it. Make it 79 on the dot. Make it simple. $79 stop loss. You're gonna handsome profit in there, whatever happens, until it gets your TP. So that's not too bad. Dollar Swiss franc, 8972, a short on this one. That's 50 pips in profit. Again, you can modify. We've all done that. I've modified a little bit close, maybe. I don't know how you feel about it. Mine's at 89.50. I feel mine's a little bit close. If you feel that's too close, maybe 89.60. But whatever it is, make sure you're in a profit, whatever happens. So that one's okay as well. AUD was not, but that happens. One baddie and 1, 2, 3, 4 goodies. I'm happy with that ratio. That's an excellent ratio. Going back a little bit further, is the Euro GBP, anything happening there? That's going back to Friday, I think. Is we still in that one? GBP, slightly down, but it's been pretty quiet, but it's not much down, 10, 15 pips down. More than made up on the AUD USD, NZD CAD, which we're both out of at a handsome profit. AD JPY is giving you some jip. I don't know if we're still in that, hit the stop or whatever. Yes, hit the stop. Sorry about that, but that's one of those things. It's going to happen. So we've had 2 hit the stops out of the last 6, of which 2 are banked as winners. Can't complain at that. Yeah, so just the Euro GBP, see if that comes to the party. You want to go back further? You mentioned the Euro CAD somewhere on the line. Yeah, we went through that sort of. But not going back to Thursday. I think most of you guys are out the Thursday one. So that's fine. Okay. And AUD JPY is a sell almost certainly. And we're out of that now, hit the stop loss, so won't worry about that. Okay, fine. So that's a quick going over what we're already in. If I went too quick, you're not sure, well, just ask. Simple. Euro dollar gives a bit of jip. In fact, that was a EJ1, and I think it's now in profit. There's a couple of others EJ ones. I think it was I can't remember actually. There's a couple other EJ ones weren't doing too badly. So as you can see down there, there's quite a bit of blue carrying on there, as you can see there. So they're doing okay. Microsoft is still in profit, just a bit slow. Because the NAS, for whatever reason, best known itself, decided to jump up. The dollar's come off. the yields are coming off, so the Nasdaq goes up. That's emotional. I don't know. That's a drunken Nas. Had too many drinks, got behind the wheel, and driving the wrong direction. That makes no sense. So I'm beginning to make no sense. I think sense will, when it sobers up, you'll realize it's going the wrong bloody way and turn around and come off. Because all the other major indicators are saying downside. And Tesla falling off is not the be all and end all. I get that, but it's still a bigger, it's a reasonable part, should I say. A reasonable, probably a better way of describing it, of the Nasdaq 100. It's a big player in there. And so, everything's a point coming off. So I don't know what it's doing there. So I think it's going to sober up and start coming off. Interesting analogies I use, but you get what I'm on about. Welcome back. Welcome back, okay? Well, we've done some successful trading, not been doing too badly so far in the TR, making up for, was it 2 weeks ago, we had a bit of a hectic time. But when I took a deep breath and stopped suddenly whinging about it, we still got about 50 or around about that 50-50. So it wasn't good. It wasn't up to normal, very high standard, which of course we do set being trading Marines. It still wasn't a complete, utter bloody nuclear disaster, so, which is actually quite good news. If you're not doing too badly in terrible times, in theory, that's good. Yeah, I know. Back to the matter in Cape, I've just gone through about 7-8 trades there, of which 2 not so good, 1 in, and the rest are doing just fine. Thank you very much. And either out already in a profit or modified stops in profit, whatever happens. So can't really complain too much. And the 4 we had out that day, 2 did fail. 1 failed, 1 still there, but the other 2 had such a decent cracking return that it more than made up for but the other 2 had failed. And if the other one is only 13 in the red, gets stopped out in the loss, it will still be less than those 2 net put together. So it's still a win situation. Okay. That's the problem I always say with guys at limited amount of income, not income, sorry, balance, because they get 7-8 trades and they can't do it because they haven't got enough money. And out of the 4 or 5, there's always going to be 1 or 2 losers. That's the way it goes. They might just pick those 2, and of course they're despondent. Like I've had guys saying, I mentioned this morning, I was promised 5 single a day, you're not giving to me. My answer to that is even we gave you 10 a day or 5 a day, you get 3 a day, you wouldn't be able to handle them because you haven't got enough money. They don't put it like that. They might be offended. Don't offend them. But I mean, just think a little bit. If you've got 500 or 600, 800 rand in your account, so you're getting 3, 4 singles a day. Completely pointless because you won't be able to take part of them. Like going around house hunting in a 20 million rand area when your budget's 1 million rand. It's great fun, but what's the point? Yeah, well, Microsoft is popped up a little bit on the NAS, but it's trying to come off again. No, it's not. What's it doing up there? Go figure. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's doing up there. Not idea at all. That's a classic example, guys, of the story. A guy goes to the restaurant, orders the meal, and as soon as it arrives, he pays the bill, gives a fat tip, and then rushes out, leaving the meal untouched. Well, unless he suddenly pulls out an emergency. The point I'm trying to make is doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so we've run that through the trades we've got at the moment, and it's looking fairly damn pretty. And the New Zealand government helped us, well, the CPI in New Zealand helped us turn that NZD baddie into a goodie, and now it's in profit. 83.24 was the sell, and it's now, yeah, not much, but at least it's in profit, guys. from being bloody awful. But yes, okay. All right, okay. As NGAS, just let it run. You've got to stop, forget about it. It's going to be slow, leave it alone. As I said before, don't touch it if you've got limited funds. The last thing you want is your limited funds stuck in a traffic jam, which NGAS is basically a traffic jam. It moves, but it's slow. That's only for guys who want to put something in, might be there maybe a month, sometimes 2 months. Serious, month to 2 months, yeah. And then forget about it. Doesn't affect the balance or free margin. That wasn't much difference. I mean, not really, no, to be honest. Well, I'll give you the figures now. There's only 5,000 difference. 240K claimed, 245 claimed jobless, welfare basically, and 240 expected. 5K, it's a difference, but no, not really. The Philadelphia had a bit of a weakness on the dollar because that came up minus 31.3 million compared to 19.2 million. But even on that, it's a lot, but it's not one of the biggest guys on the firmament, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. This is making no sense to me at all. So don't let it get you down. If you're short this, you're right, because the indicator tell you. If you're doing well, if you went long, well, I'm happy you made a couple of bucks, but you know you're doing the wrong thing. I'd rather lose the right trade than win the wrong trade, because that big piece of unusual bit of luck's not always going to continue. But I'm still anyway what I am. I've modified my stock, a couple of stock down, and it's still well away from that side. But just a bit annoying because I expect that coming back a couple of 100 points on opening. Pips, I mean. When you get the figures, just look at the difference. I mean, if that's 240 expected, it's like 360 or 220 or 180 or 170. Now there's a big disparity. Then that's a cause of a movement. But when you see sudden movements on a very little, tiny disparity between the actual and expected, there's got to be another reason. Either highly oversensitive, emotional, knee-jerk reaction to very little problem, or something else is going on that we clearly don't know about. There's something going on out there that I certainly don't know about, because I don't know what that is at all. Unless Apple or something suddenly taken off, I don't know. That's the biggest of the lot. Maybe Apple's taken off. Not really. Don't know why that's happening. Anyway, so there it is. Can't do much more about that. CAD JPY is coming right. Good stuff. Popped up, but still in profit. That's okay. CHF JPY is coming off. We wanted to buy that. We want to buy a little bit lower than that. That's not enough. Okay, leave that. I looked at Brent, things WI. I said, what the hell happened to WTI? Realizing it's Brent. Panic job. Have you ever done that? Panicked and realized, what the hell? Oh, it's the wrong instrument. Because you know, you go and you drag it across. You meant to grab the dollar CAD, you do this one instead. And it might, what's that? Oh, sorry, the wrong one. Okay, guys, just a recap. Because this sort of nonsensical move of the NAS at the moment, I'm a little bit wary of adding any more shares to the portfolio. So I think we'll just sit tight on that for the moment. We've not exactly got a shortage of trades out. I know for a fact some guys had to miss trades, even though they wanted to take them, didn't have enough free margin. Remember the facts? Always make sure you've got enough free margin after you've entered another trade. Not before, then enter it and find it's stuck because you only got a tiny free margin. If you've got a small free margin, the noise is going to kick you out because you've been margin called because you don't have enough money to maintain. I mentioned before, quick one again, not to bore the guys know this, the margin is purely collateral for the market maker lending you the money. Like you buy a car or a house, they want a deposit, that is collateral. Take away the deposit or the collateral, they'll call in the loan. That's what a margin call is. Simple as that. No more complicated. So make sure that is in order. And please, if you're new to this, you don't understand leverage, well then find out. Google it, go to classes. It's very important. It's like driving up, knowing what speed you're doing. You've got to know that. And increasing the leverage, just in going bigger with a small amount of money, is just asking more chance of getting margin called. And I've had guys literally coming on and says, no, I've been trading, I know that is, you're scamming me. And I say, well, you'll be margin call. I know all about margin. Well, clearly you don't, because that's the reason. Look at your free margin. Yeah, when they start bluffing, they say they know and they clearly don't. It's not cool. Yeah, it's like me after 3 days of first aid course starting getting a full argument with the doctor. It's not a clever thing to do. Anything you want to look at, guys? Anyone ask about the moving averages? If you're new, I see Festus Maina. Don't know if you've been before, Mr. Mwangi. If you haven't been before, Lawrence, a couple of new names. What a pleasure. Welcome. It's an ongoing training forum. Yeah, thank you, my friend. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to hear. People unmute or put on the chat line and interact. Because you get some people who are confident to do it and they learn exponentially fast. Other guys shy, don't. And a month later, they're asking a question that should really have been learnt in the first couple of, trading rooms, because they didn't know, too scared to ask, so they don't Google it or do anything and hope it'll suddenly come in a dream or whatever. No, fantastic. We're all on your side. As I say, interact. We're here to do the practical aspects. And as I say, interact. If you're not sure, we'll explain. There's a couple of new guys. I'll do what I normally do, give you the economic calendar. We talk a lot about the economic fundamentals coming out. So here's your calendar coming up. Copy, paste it, save it, minimize it, and refer to it. You'll not be jumping into any trade just before a major economic fundamental comes out, because they'll overcome any technical. Don't worry about double tops, double bottoms. If a major funding comes out, it'll go through that, like I say, like a nice fruit butter. So just bear that in mind. Okay, and I'll give you what we call the DXY, or the dollar index. Clearly, the dollar is where it's at, and so you've got to know what the index is doing. That's the dollar index, so I'll give you that. And I'll give you the yields as well. There's something called a 10-year US Treasury note. It's a bond. It's a paper, a note, with a figure written on it. I think it's $10 million, actually. Don't worry about it, it's not for you. It's for institutions and high net worth and all that sort of thing. And we're not worried about the bond, we're about the yields on that bond. Just do it first, and then you'll have it and talk. Well, screw up here. Hang on. Yeah, there you are. Keep an eye on those yields. If the yields, remember this, I know you know Anna Maria and company, but just the new guys here. If the yields come down, right? I mean, I've got the wrong way around. Yeah, if the yields come down, I got the wrong way around and complaining about the NASDAQ. It's got the way around. The NASDAQ's right, I'm wrong. Sorry, jumping the gun here. If the yields come down, it's good for the share market and gold. If the dollar comes down, it's good for the share market and gold. Okay. So I'm moaning like a stuck pig about the NASDAQ, and I was standing on my head. No, that's why it's gone up. Sorry, that's purely my fault. My mistake. Sorry, yields come off, it's good. I don't know, I had a blonde bloody moment there, I don't know. Sorry, no, the NASDAQ's going up because yields come off. Sorry, oh, idiot. Blame the NAS, it should be blaming Ua Mirage. Okay, I'm glad I pointed that out now. Okay, so you need those and the economic calendar, the DXY and the yields on the bond. Keep it and then refer to it. They're very powerful indicators, and the indicators were right. I just misread them. I don't know what I did. Okay, but rescued it quickly and admitted it. Okay. Also, with a quiet moment, right click on the blank part of your chart, go to template and click on Save Template. When you've done that, you put your name in, save it. So when you lose your charts, whatever, fat finger, button pressing, drinker, I don't know, right click, go to templates, and you see the save templates down there. You might have 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. Pick the one you like, click on it, and it comes up, and you don't have to worry anymore. You don't think, now what's happening now? What do I do now? Panic job, no. Right click, because it's saved. If you want to know anything about the instrument, these are all called instruments, financial instruments, okay? You left click on them, it'll give you, doesn't matter what, do this one here. left click, right click, specification, and that gives you the margin. Divide to 100 gives you the leverage, gives the spread is floating, and it gives you information. Okay. Have a micro. The normal one's 10. This one here, micro, is contract size not 10, but 1. So it's clearly a smaller contract. So therefore, it's, well, it's 10% the size of the instrument. Quite straightforward. Instead of buying contract 10 cars, you buy a contract only 1 car. So your deposit is smaller, your risk is smaller, but unfortunately, your profit will be smaller. Don't forget, if you have a small amount, you'll make tiny minimum money. If you have a large amount and get it right, you make a lot more money. You won't have tiny amount with minimum risk and make a lot of money. That ain't going to happen. It's totally, that's fantasy land. So if you can put 1,000 and make a lot of money, I'm sorry, no. Wake up, smell the roses. Just prepare that in mind. Good to practice, good to learn, but you put nothing in, so expect to get a lot out. And that seems to be the problem with a lot of guys. They buy the old bicycle and want to get the performance on the top of the range motor car or even a jet. No, it won't happen. What you put in, you get out. Always remember that in everything. Okay, yeah, we have shares. Don't forget on shares, they open at 3:30. So you can't do anything with them till it opens. And we've got a position size calculator there, and it's only, repeat, only relevant for anything but BUT shares, not shares. Everything else but, repeat, but the shares. If you want to get a count of the shares, you've got to go to Stock Market College login, LMS or whatever they call it, and then go in there and you'll find, I think it's in resource, I'm not sure. You'll have the, what should we call it, the calculator for shares. Remember, I'm not with Stock Market College, a separate company. That's a training company. Once you got the basics, you learn the basics, you pay them to get the training, not me. Just a second. How's it, Reverend? Not too bad. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, what are we looking at so far? Okay. Okay, thanks for update. But we're looking in the region about 3.5 grand upwards, is that right? Okay, but if it comes in around about that level or whatever, and it's totally reliable, it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't fully get straight. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, it won't be right. No, exactly. I thought that sound wasn't correct. Thanks very much, Robin. You're a star. You're a star. Okay. Perfect. Thanks very much. Brilliant. Thanks for the call. Cheers, mate. Thanks. Bye. Sorry about that, guys. It's quite an important one. I had to take it. Sorry about that. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. Naz, yeah, I was correct on that. Forgot what I was talking about now. Is it late to take a trade? Especially since in the middle of this morning. In Ghana now. Ah, you're in Ghana. Okay. Okay. This is seriously international. I like it. Get a few Botswanans. I know we've got a couple in the States. Right. We've got a couple in Hungary, I believe, as well. Zimbabwe, now Ghana. I think even Nigeria, I'm not sure. Anyway, we're getting international. Good stuff. The time we'll take the trade, Lawrence, is actually irrelevant. It's whether the signal is still worth taking or not, depending where the signal says and where the market price is now. Example, let's go and have a look at one. Let's knock this off. Give an example. I mean, let's pick this one. Let's say put on the daily. Let's say it's a sell, and we got a sell on the signal at 55.85, and the first time you looked at it, it is now 55.40. The difference in 55.85 and 55.40 is 45 pips. Clearly, that ship has sailed, but the market moves up and down. Let's say you woke up at another time and it came out at 9:30 this morning. The first time you looked at it and it gone right down and then came back up again. It was back at 55.85 again. Where's 55.85? Here we are. And it was back there again. Clearly, you can take it. Or let's say you missed it and it went up and the signal says get in here, and actually it's higher. Assume you still like the signal, you're getting a better price. So you've got to make a judgment where the market price is and where the signal is at that specific moment. Okay, are you with me? Got it. Has everyone got that? Because this is the questions I want from you people. First time here, Lawrence, he's on it. I think somebody else called out there. Yes, that's what you want. There's guys in the trading room or out there, not in the term out there, who sit day in, day out, and wonder why they're not learning because they're not interacting or Googling it or asking. And it applies to everyone. Very good point. It's not just a question, I see it and then jump in. You've already questioned. I came out at 9 and it's now 4:30 in the afternoon and I take it now. I can explain yes and no, depending where it is. Sometimes you get a better price. It did you a favor, you missed it, you got a better price. Sometimes the ship has sailed. I hope you all know what I mean by that. You can't chase it, it's too far away. And always get the position size calculator. So what you do then is you put the same stop loss in, same TP in, and you realize that the risk, instead of being 100 Rand per 0.01, is now 150, and your profit, instead of being 200 per 0.01, is now only 100. So you're risking more than you're going to possibly make. So clearly that ship has sailed. So if it's slightly worse price, bung the SL and TP from the signal in, have the market price up there and just check, is it worth chasing? Clearly it's a better price and the signal says 100 Rand risk and you'll get a better price. Now it's going to be 80 Rand risk and maybe 220 profit instead of 200. What a pleasure. That's what you have to look at. And once explained, you think, well, that one's so difficult. Remember, it's a psychological thing. When you start something new, it's automatically you think it's actually a lot of times more common than it is. And I mean this because actually chairman of quite a large company came and did this. And he sat down with me before COVID in there. And I had a degree in chemical engineering, master degree, well, a very clever guy. And he came in and I thought, very clever guy, he's missed the point a couple of times. And after a couple of times sitting with me, he stared, he looked at me. But Roger, this is quite simple. Yeah, I know. And then it dawned not on him, me as well. Never thought, about 3.5 years ago. That's the problem, especially cleverer guys. They're expecting it to be bloody splitting the atom or reinventing the wheel. No, it's not. So why is it difficult? The reason why it's difficult is emotions play a part. I'm sorry, Lawrence, I don't care if you're a neurosurgeon or you're a road sweeper or an astronaut or a professor in bloody splitting the bloody quantum theoretical atom. We are all emotional creatures, and that does behave irrationally. And that's what gives a lot of these knee-jerk reactions which are uncontrollable. And that we can't control, but the other stuff we can. And that is what I try to get across to people. And it took me time to get as well. I looked for a complication that didn't exist. Look, I don't have hordes of bloody indicators on here. But a lot of people like all these different algorithms and all the rest of it. No, it's about price action and what the buyers and sellers are doing. And keep an eye on the fundamentals out there. Keep yourself informed on what's happening in the economic front, especially in America, but to a certain extent in the Far East and Europe, and to a certain extent, obviously, in your own country. But yeah, that's the sort of general idea. And then muscle memory of repetition. I mean, already we've got ladies like Marlene coming in here and stories have been past the halfway mark, so you've been doing a week or two. You know, it's not that complicated. We make it in our head more complicated than it actually is. No. Well, for 6 months, it's not you, that's fair whack. No, there's nothing wrong. You always get the signals. Now, I want you to join us here so you know why they're being sent. Now, Lawrence has been doing it 6 months. That's a different ballgame. So he says, I've been doing this for 6 months and trading, and you send out a buy on the NZD-CHF. What is the reason for that? I was thought it was in the sell zone. I thought you're saying the NZD is fairly weak at the moment. The Swiss franc's fairly strong, and clear the trend is down. Why are you saying buying it? That's where the bit of knowledge comes. Turn around and say, because I made a complete total cock of it. I got it wrong. And I'll be honest, like I did just now, got the wrong way around the NAS and whinging like a stuff thing. And it was quite right. The NAS should go up because the yields came up. Or I'll say, yes, but a big fundamentals come out that New Zealand dollar is going to do so and so, and the Swiss franc bank has failed over there, roles reversed on the fundamental front, and it's undervalued, and it's very strong support that's happened over the last 20 years, and that's why we're expecting about those reasons. Yes, that's your knowledge. You can have a debate without trying to. What's this racket in the background? Sorry, I can't think of it going on. If you're not interacting, please mute, guys, and then you can interact. Remember, this is not like it does in America, with the Republicans sell the narrative and the Democrats sell the narrative. And if you're Republican, you're wrong. If you're Democrat, and if you're Democrat, you're wrong for Republican. No, this is about intelligent debates, learning from each other, trying to get over our massive egos as males, okay, and eating a bit of humble pie and learning from all of us. I have come on a long time by doing the trading room simply because I've learned from people that trade, from beginners, intermediate, etc. And that's the way I look at it. Okay. Once you start believing you're 100% right, you're on a collision course of going wrong. That's what I found anyway. Hope that answers your question, Lawrence. I do speak quickly, so I hope you got all that. Good stuff. Yeah, but look at the signal as well. And if it's a better price, don't do any in selling short, don't do a sell stop, or it's a long, don't do a buy stop. It's a better price. Clearly, it's a better price. Take it. So if it says sell at 55.34 and the price at market is 55.44, why would you put a sell stop in? You'd go in at market because you're getting a 10 pips better price. Then poor old Farn just joined us and he got it at 34, being a good lad that he is. And Lawrence went in at 44 because he got it a little bit later. Well done, gone a different time. You're a happy chappy. Sometimes you miss the ship, though. Sometimes the ship has sailed. But you get my point. Hi, Barney. Good to have you back. As long as you understand the concept, I repeat them again, because it's a concept. The rest is number crunching. But if you don't understand the concept of what I'm on about, then we've got to get it sort of understood. It's like learning something parafash. You don't know why. I expected so. Yeah, I'm really saying welcome back here. It's like the women have to be leaving soon because it's supper time. They've got to leave and get the meal on, whilst their husband relaxes watching the TV. That sort of thing. I understand that totally. Yeah, I think I live in a bit of a time warp. Just stirring, guys. I would love to start a fresh trade with you tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. The trade comes up if you see, we look through. Every morning I look through from about 6:30, something like that, 6:30, whatever I get up, depending. Luckily I work from home, so I've got a traffic jam to worry about. And then I go through them all, see if there's any potential likelihood of a trade. Then what I do is I bring it up in the strategy meeting, with the company one, I do you guys, and discuss it with the others. We like it, we send it out. Simple as that. The MT5 is a platform which we use as Quick Trade. It's a separate international company which has a myriad of brokers that use it. So you have Stock Market College, Company A, which sells your educational packages, the broker Quick Trade, which I work for. I am licensed to advise. So if you're advised on a share, advised on an instrument or anything like that, you haven't got much choice in the matter. I hope you like me, because if you don't, tough, because you've got to come to me. If you want anything like opening other accounts or any technical problems, you can go to the account manager or you go to the technical support. But into trade, you've got to come to me, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. And that's the Quick Trade. I'm the broker side of it. And then you've got to go. And then if anything hassle with the MT5 platform, we'll try and sort it out, of course, but it's a separate company. Just remember, we're not all one company, there's 3 separate companies. So if you get digital problems, sorry, not digital, data problems with the MT5, it's in Australia, South Africa, in Europe, I think some in America as well, a lot in America, but it's a UK original company. If any data problem, we get onto them in the UK and they get onto it 24/7. And it's no good saying, how am I going to be, you Quick Trade, blah, 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 shout, scream what you like. We have no idea, it's out of our control, it's up to them to get it sorted. I have opened a real account. Yeah, of course. If you open a real account, yeah. Yeah. If you open a real account, it's funded. A couple of things, I'll put my number up in a minute. If you've got less than 500, don't call me, I'll call you. You're wasting your time. If you've got over 500, that's still a bit limiting. You can ask a bit of advice, but it's limiting what I can give because your capital is so minuscule. If you've got over 2.5 grand, or if in a dollar account, $150, and maintain that balance or more, you'll get daily economic updates, and I can now give it more time if required. And you'll get a few extra signals sent to you because you've got the funds to make use of them. Like one guy said before, he says, I was promised 5 signals a day. They're about 600-700 rand his account. See, if you got 5 signals a day, you couldn't use them. You haven't got enough money to use them all. You know what I mean? So you've got to, again, most of this is common sense. If you haven't got much money, that's fair enough. But don't expect you're going to make much if you haven't. People say, what's the minimum? My answer to that is, oh, you want to make the minimum. No, I want to make the maximum. Then you've got to put in the maximum. If you want to make the minimum, put in the minimum. But don't put in the minimum, expect to make the maximum. That is the something for nothing is really a serious issue worldwide, and why often these guys get caught. And a little bit they can ill afford to lose, they do, because they're expecting something for nothing. Okay, you won't beat a bloody Ferrari if you've got a bicycle. It's just not going to happen. Okay. You see again this minimum thing again. There's no minimum, but if you want to trade and make money, it takes time to learn this. It takes time to trade and the return put in. You know what I'm saying? Is on $100 at 50% a year, it's a good return. You make $50 a year. That's $4 a month. Do you want to work hard to make $4 a month? That's the point. You know what I'm saying? So you can put in with life, but the amount of work and the amount of financial return, is it justified? They have minimum wages in here for the maids, you know, and that's more than you'd get on returns in such a small amount. That's what you start with, it's fine. But don't expect lots of ridiculous returns. And that's where the emotion's taking over the logic. But anyway, $150 minimum to be a member of the QT WhatsApp VIP group. Otherwise, you'll get the odd signal for sure, but you'll get daily updates and all the rest of it. Trying to get people to fund their accounts and start to learn to do the job properly and get rid of this something for nothing attitude. You know what I mean? I'm desperate, I haven't got any money, but maybe someone will help me out, make a buck for me. It's not a charity business. You put in, you get out. Hope that's clear. I hope it's not too harsh, but one has to realize some realities of life on it, and I want people to understand. Okay. But again, going back to the minimum, if you want to make $500 a day, this worries me when people say that. I want to put the minimum in, and then I want to make $500 a day. I just said that. If you put the minimum, you get the minimum. So anyone says, what's the minimum to me? I reply to them, oh, so you want to make the minimum. They turn around and say, I want to make the maximum. Well, that's against the laws of known physics. You know what I mean? I want to run slower than you, and I want to win the race. How does that work? You know what I mean? If you want to make $500 a day, there's 200 days a year. Multiply 500 by 200. I'll do it for you. That makes it 1,000. 10,000, that's 100,000 US dollars a year. To do that at 50% return, which is a damn good return, and most people won't do this to know what they're doing. Not to do it when you haven't a clue what you're doing. To make $100,000 a year, and you're a pro, you know what you're doing. You need about $200,000. Okay, so if you're desperate to make $500, put in $200,000, and we can help you. Simple as that. But a guy who puts $100, bet $500 a day, it worries me. I'm sorry, Wallace, it worries me. I've just bought this broken bicycle for 150 Rand, and I want to go down to Cape Town fast in the Boeing 707. What? Please, please, I beg of you, think. And that's the problem that holds people back and why they screw up in life, is they want to get something for nothing. Doesn't work. A film star's half my age, 10 times richer, 10 times more intelligent, 10 times more gorgeous. She's not going to want to go out with me, is she? Common sense. Are we all good with that? Because I want to get this sorted out, people. I'm not trying to negative into that. Just a little, a smidgen of reality with the goals and dreams. Am I being a bit over the top there, Fan? I need your help on this. It's worrying me, these sort of things. I put $100, I want to make $500 a day. Am I being unfair, or what do you reckon? Fan doesn't know what to say. Yeah, but a newbie has still got common sense. You know what I mean? Whether you've been in the stock market or not, it should think, hang on a minute. If you could make $500 a day with that kind of money, why is unemployment? Why is anyone doing anything else? In fact, what I'd do, I mean, to go to the bank with that business idea and borrow $20 million, and I'd be paid back within 3 days, and then I'd be taking over Elon Musk by the end of the month. Well, when? Okay, but he said $500 a day. He didn't say $500 in a lifetime, did he? Yeah, you make $500, maybe the next 20 years, $100, but certainly not today now. Clearly. And you'll take losses, which you'll take more because you're learning, you don't know what you're doing, so you're going to take more losses. That's and when you get better at it, you'll take less. That's another point. You need knowledge, you need capital, and you need tools. Those three you've got to have. We don't want to spoil the business. We need the business from a company's point. I work for the company, it's great. But I personally think I've been in sales. You can sell a product by being realistic. I'm not sure about selling a product that makes absolutely ridiculous claims. And if you sell it, oversell an accident, obviously you're going to create disappointment. You know what I'm saying? And it happens throughout. See on Instagram, all that ridiculous overselling and ridiculous under-delivering. And that's just creating disappointment. I mean, I'm be honest with you, I can afford more than $100. And believe me, I've used every single penny to sell up everything if I can make those kind of returns. In fact, why would I put in $100 if I can make that kind of return? And obviously, I keep saying that, but people are not getting the concept. It's just maybe holding on to an unrealistic dream. You need goals, you need dreams, you need a target and all that. You've got to make it realistic. You're not going to be a doctor after one day studying. And people seem to think if you buy this, whatever, I'm going to be a doctor, or take this pill, you'll be a doctor immediately. I don't know, it's just, remember, if you want the minimum, invest the minimum. If you want the maximum, invest the maximum. It's the way it is. Are we all good? So we'll move on. Good. All right. Yeah. Right. GD, where is it now? NAS still sort of hovering around these areas here. Not much happening. Is the Microsoft still hovering? That's not too bad. Fairly quiet at the moment. I think most of the fundamentals are out the way. I'll have a quick check. I don't think there's anything else big coming up. No, that's it for the evening. So got that out of the way. That's good stuff. Anything else? Any other trades you want to look at? Anything else you want to recap on? Anything else you want to discuss? Any questions you want to ask as regards to trading matters, etc.? Do with pleasure. Interact as you do, and we can answer those questions. It helps everybody. John asked the question, but often the answer can actually help Mary and Jane and Bill, who didn't know the question to ask, and now they clarified it. Thank you, Brad, for your support there. Thank you. Someone think after John, God, I was a bit harsh there. I don't mean to be harsh, but you know. I mean, I'm not trading on. It worries me a little bit about South Africa as well, because it seems to be dishonesty. It seems to be part of the norm. Doesn't seem any sort of moral stands of being straight and honest or whatever. Seems to make any state that feels okay to get what you want. And the trouble is, you erode your credibility. You know what I'm saying? Let's say the same price, you want a particular product, the same price, etc. And one said made in Germany, one said made in South Africa. Which one would you buy? Probably say the German one, because it's got more credibility. And that's one of the problems. But that's why one of the reasons around is so low. Not just because of corruption, it's the credibility is not good. And the only way to get credibility is, you know, well, deliver, not just promise. Open the box and there's nothing inside, which seems to be quite common, unfortunately. Don't know about Cape Town or wherever, but I'm certainly finding it up here a lot. You know, all sort of promises open up, there's no substance behind it. Didn't NZDCHF. I'm looking for a short on it. What do you want to do with it? On the daily, definitely the swing is down, so hopefully you're looking for a short. There's no reason why I should expect a bounce there. Short, good. Quite a strong resistance going back to April 2020, August 2022. That's 8 months ago. Okay, it's quite a strong resistance there. Let's go to the monthly. Might some time to come through. A lot of data. Give it a moment. Yep. No. Clearly, we're going to unknown territory there. We can still do that with what we call a Fibonacci extension to find a target. But before we go and take the trouble of putting that on, is it likely to break through there at this particular strength? Remember, the CPI is quite good, lower than expected, so it's less inflationary. So it means there's not likely to be any big increase in interest rates, which did weaken it. But from the point of view of that lower value there, I'm just personally, I'm not saying you're wrong, far from it, NK, far from it. You could be right, and I could be a chicken here. I'm just personally a little bit nervous to chase it, which haven't seen it. That sort of figures here, a quick bounce there, probably a fundamental or something, and that's 2015. Let's scrunch it a bit more. 2007 is still below that. We can't see in living history, really. That's going back, what, 16 years. I think it might hover around very powerful. See what I mean? On the monthly, I'm not sure I'll be shorting it here. At the same time, NK, I don't say just it's that low, it's going to bounce. It might do, but I wouldn't be buying that bounce. I'm saying rather wait and see if we get back up this sort of level here. Swiss is still strong. Look at it again. Is it NZD still strong? Is it confirmed the sellers are coming and moving it down again? Then you can sell it, stop up here and TP down here with a decent risk reward. I'm a little bit nervous to chase it now from the evidence I've put forward. That's fine. Great. I want you to do that. Right. What about the other guys? Do you think I'm being a bit chicken there? Do you think we should be selling it here? Or what do you think? This is a forum. We bring out ideas and we learn by discussing them. What do you think, guys? Anna Marie's happy with the wait. Anybody want to buy it or sell it or wait? Just some opinions on this. Very important you interact. If you're stuck on something you can't interact because you're in office space, that's fair enough to some, if you can. I think there's a waiting on it as well. What about Marnie? What do you think? Would you like to buy or sell it? I just want to develop what Marnie just said that. You lose nothing to wait. Not strictly 100% true, but more to the point, what she's trying to say, I totally agree with. Another thing which it took me a long time, so I know what I'm talking about here, is to learn this patience. I often envy the Far East, like the Chinese, the Japanese, etc. They're long on patience. It doesn't have to be done the next 10 minutes, the next 10 years. That is something in the West we're very bad at, is patience. And that's why I know what you mean, and rather have a bit of patience. I can say in the last 3 or 4 years, because I'm fairly experienced now, the majority of the cock-ups I've made with that experience is basically like a discipline, but even more so is impatience. If I'd only bloody waited instead of getting impatient, you know what I mean? Occasionally you're going to miss out on one, but that little bit of miss out on one, when you had the patient kicks in, more than makes up for it. Very important statement. What we're trying to do as well is not put an old man's head on the young shoulders, I get that, but try and cut some of the mistakes I've made because I wasn't really guided. I had to find my way through on this basically on my own all the time. No one was there to give us a hand. And so what I'm passing on, I've done it. It's not some theory read in a book. I've been there. And I'd rather did it once and learn and then 10 times and still do it because you're not showing what's going wrong. Rather, had it not complete in the mud, but, you know, learn. It could be that, Bram. I think sell the rally, and it could be a trend reversal. That NZD helped the country, but didn't help the New Zealand dollar much. The CPI inflation being lower than expected. Good for the country, but not very good for a trading jump in now on a buy against it. So that could happen. But I'm just a little bit nervous that, again, it goes back up here. It's only 33 pips. It's too much risk and not enough meat in the bones to take that risk. You know what I'm saying? That's what you look at. Is there enough reward for me to take that risk? Are you agree with that, Anne-Marie? Often impatience has come back and smacked as well. It's probably quite common, but I know from, I'm being honest with you guys, that's been a major problem with me in the past trading, is basically impatience. I'm a Ferrari man. I want to get to 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, not 2 sodding minutes. Yeah, but that's easily ironed out. That's not your fault. You just didn't know that. I mean, that's fair enough. Where you did know, and I said to you many times, don't put 3 pit stops in and you continue to do it, and then I can't help. You know what I'm saying? It's like a doctor saying, you've got to take all 5 of the pills, 2 today and 1 each day for the next 3 days. You're like penicillin, that's how you do it. And you take the 2 and then don't bother the 3. Well, the doctor, that can't be responsible for that. But if you thought 300 made 30, it was quite understandable until somebody put it out. That's certainly not your fault. Okay, Anna-Marie, fantastic as always to have you and your input. Remember, guys, a lot of the more experienced guys interact more and they speak that up. It's not because we're only aiming at them, we're aiming at all of them. And it's important that you join. Like Lawrence, join in. Great to have you from Ghana. Start learning. Well, I'm trying to gain 2 things, proper trading principles and trust. And getting rid of all this nonsense that's going on the social media with all these ridiculous guys standing in front of Ferraris or bloody Learjets and say you can start with $10 and this sort of thing. Fine, okay, but this is, I'm sorry, we have a dream, but let's make it a little bit more realistic, and then you're more likely to obtain not that ridiculous dream, but at least change some sort of success. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get across. Those are 2 things I'm selling as well. I'm trying to sell trust and proper trading principles. And I've learned that. I don't believe in altruism. I think we're all bloody selfish. And I'm quite selfish. And I've learned, I watch companies like Apple and Samsung and these guys, what do they do to become trillionaire companies, trillion-dollar companies? They produce a product at the right price that works for the customer. Not a promise of a phone that will do this, that, and the other, and the guy's bought it, doesn't. That's not how you do it. And that's how these guys became wealthy. Not trying shortcuts all the time. And unfortunately, I see a lot over here. Everyone's looking for a shortcut because they can't be bothered to do the job properly. And in the end, they lose more than they've got out. Okay. What did Churchill say? Promise you nothing but blood and sweat and tears. Ask any of the professionals on this site here. They had to take exams, they had to grind, they had to study. The mates are going out on Friday night, they're sitting and studying. And they get the exam and they get the certificate and they get the bucks. I like the way you put that, yeah. You have a serious allergy to making money. I tell you what, I'm going to, there's not any trade, I'll stop immediately go into it. These concepts discuss. Everyone says, I want to make money. I'll tell you, Marty, very few people want to make money. There are a few, Warren Buffett's one of them, Elon Musk's another one, few of them, not having the famous names. Most people don't want to make money. Most people want to spend it. They're making the money, they want to get over as quickly as possible. They could be less interested in it. They just want it to come in so they can occupy their focus on spending it. When they say I want to make money, what that means, I want to make money so I can spend it. But that is their focus. Buffett's not like that. He's made far more money than 1 million people spend a lifetime. And he lives quite humbly. He's not interested in the material aspect of it. He's interested in the success area of compiling those figures. That's what he's interested in. That is the difference. You remember Hansi Cronje, who Shepard died in an aircraft crash in the Atlantic. What a pity. What a great captain, very well paid. But he was like an alcoholic, but he was a moneyholic. And he got caught because there's something for nothing, easy little scam he did in the Middle East, which is quite a lot out there, on the cricket, you know, he's the ex-cricket captain. And even though there's enough money, he couldn't resist another quick buck and it came back in a bit. It's because of that area. It's either a sort of addiction to it or, but most of the time, it's addiction to spending, not making it. And that's why most people are in debt, because they want to spend it, but they spend it on leveraged liabilities, LL, leveraged liabilities, like motor cars, etc. You know, they say it's only $2,000 a month, but every time they take it over 72 months, that means they're buying one for themselves, another one for the bank, buying 2 cars, basically. They're leveraging a liability, and that's it, because they want to spend the stuff. You know what I mean? Just interesting way of putting it, hey? So when the guys say, I want to make money, he says, no, we don't. I want a job. Why do you want a job? Think of a job. What's a bloody job? I want to make money. Oh, why do you want to make money? So I can spend the money. Does anybody here, if they suddenly won, let's say, $20 million, continue doing the work they're doing at the moment? I'm not talking about trading, the job they're in at the moment. I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? The guys who want to make money would still continue doing the job because that's their hobby. They don't land on the beach. That's all they want to do. I was actually lived with a lady many years ago in the UK, actually. And her husband divorced her, not for another woman. It was another woman, it was his work. He was a extremely wealthy financier, and he was more interested in his work than being with his wife. And he'd pop in one day, maybe spend a few hours there, a call would go out, and he had his private jet fly out to Italy or New York, where his business was going. And he didn't need it. He was incredibly wealthy, but it was his hit, it was addiction, if you like. See what I mean? Best thing is to say, lie to me as much as you like, but try not to lie to yourself. Most of the problems occur, and we, unfortunately, we're not as honest as we should be with ourselves, okay? Fair comment, eh, Marnie? There's a fancy phrase for it. It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Another simple English word for it is denial. Most of us are in denial. I'm afraid to say, Marnie, that's why I said ignore the trading part. Now I'm going to develop something on this. It's one of the major problems with trading. It is addictive. It's a bit like gambling. And the problem is they end up playing the markets like they would in a casino. There's no strategy or discipline or patience. It becomes an addictive gamble. And that usually comes back and bites. Once it becomes an addictive, you've got to trade. I've had guys who must be something open at the weekend. No, the markets are closed. No, oh God, what am I going to do over the weekend? Now you know that guy's got a trading addiction. You know what I mean? And they usually end up, I'm afraid, losing because they're addicted with their emotions rather than their boring old discipline strategy. Boring strategy, boring discipline, boring old patience. You know what I mean? Fair comment. Hope it is, because I mean, I'm just passing on experience. Long time trade, long time to life, traveled a lot. And that's sort of just putting that experience. Mike Dolan tells you guys are probably more traveled than most. And I can see that as an international situation. Not South Africa, it's international. Quickly go on to that, the quickly start actually getting the trading career under control. But I'll put my number up there. If you got more than $50 or 500 Rand, I can certainly advise. Limited time on it because the limited amount of money, and not that much an ad because it's usually 0.01 on one instrument, and that's it. If you get 3, I haven't got enough money to go the more than 1. That's another problem. All your eggs are going to be in one basket because you haven't got enough money to diversify. But if you got 150 or 212 grand or more, let me know and I'll upgrade you, and then you get more signals. Okay, put it on now. Give me a second. Okay, let's just make a note of that. I still like that. Keep making the same mistake, not learning from it, then you have a serious allergy to making money. Must have been put that well. I think Fester Derby had to leave, or his internet's gone, or maybe he's gone off in a huff. Suddenly realised, hang on, I'm not going to achieve what I thought it was in the next 10 minutes. Unfortunately, it's the way it is. I don't want to lose clients, but I don't want them to get disappointed, unfulfilled, unrealistic dreams. I mean, be realistic. Putting budding billionaire, not millionaire, billionaire on a t-shirt walking around. Well, just don't do it in the UK, they'll take the piss. Not you want to go to the UK, I know, but you know what I mean. Any question, guys? Anyone discuss or want to look at? Do you want to recap on the trades? We can look at that. What's WTI doing? It's trying to come off. It's trying to come off slowly but surely. I'm a little bit worried about that. We've got the TP down here at the 50-day moving average, but it might get a couple of bars coming in here. So just bear that. If it starts coming in here and bounces, it might be worth risking taking it. Or remember, if you still think it's going to get here, it might well do that. Maybe you can cut your position and obviously modify your stop a little bit closer, maybe $1 away instead of $2 away or whatever, and maybe cut your position, halve it. I take you all know how to do that. I'll just go through that quickly again. A couple of new guys might not know how to do that. Right, what you do, let's pick one. Let's pick the NASDAQ, okay? I've got 0.1 there. Remember, this is not a micro. Do not touch the NASDAQ if you've got less than 5 grand in your account, unless you get the micro. Just a quick one on that, just in case. To get the micro, you put in NAS, and it gives you a choice. Click on the micro one and add it to your watch list. If it doesn't appear, then you're going to have to go to the portal, open another account, and choose the micro option. Okay, choose the micro option, and then load it. It's a separate account. So you'll have to put a couple of bucks in there, but do not touch the NASDAQ unless the micro. When you get a signal sent out to you, it'll be the micro. If you've got more money, obviously, then you go for the normal one, but just bear that in mind. So this is not a micro, it's a normal one, and I've got literally 1 milli or 0.1 or 10 micros. 0.01 micro, don't forget, 0.1 milli, 1.0 standard lot. And I decide that I want to cut my position. I don't want to close the entire amount, I want to bank half of it, for argument's sake. Double click on that, see? I then put in whatever I want to put in. In this case, I'm going to say half. What's half of 0.1? It's 0.05. You all with me? And then I just click on the yellow bar there, close it, and then I'm left then with 0.05, and the other half is banked. There's a grand there, so that'll change to 500 and the 500 banked. Are we all good on that? If not, I'll do it again as I'm checking the CAD JPY. That comes first. Just a bit of instruction quickly. I'm not a training area, but a quick instruction doesn't do any harm. Is that the CAD JPY? 64, we got an 82. Where is it now? We got a CAD JPY, sorry, a 94. Yeah, we're about 30 pips in profit. Okay, right. If you want, Nobuchli, I hope that's pronounced rightly, Nobuchli. If you want, it's probably a little bit close, but you can modify your stop. I don't know what price you got in on. If you got in about, I tell you what, quickly, so we don't hold the class up, just put down the price on the chat line that you entered on. Then I can tell you where you can modify your stop to. Okay, because I can't give you that because I know where you got in. You might have got a 99.70, then you can't put it to entry clearly. But it's in profit. It's about 30 pips in profit. So 30 pips, I don't like about 30, 40 pips. Maybe you can. If you got in at the signal price of 94, it's now 64, 61, 64 on the buy, and we're selling it, 30 pips in profit, you can modify to entry. But I don't know what price you got in at. So I don't want to blindly go in if you got in a lower price, if you see what I mean. But certainly, if you've got a lower price, you can reduce the risk by modifying. So your initial risk is, let's say, 100 units. You modified, you might still lose, but it might be 50 instead of 100. You worked your volumes out, you worked your risk out on 100, and now it's only 50. It's better. Remember, you got the calculator here to work what your risk is, so you don't overexpose and you're comfortable with the risk before you press the entry button. Hope we're all clear on these concepts. They're basics, but often they're forgotten about. But often they ask you a question, and then you try and interact, and it takes a long time to get a reply. I just need a price. It doesn't take long. I'm not talking about the profit. I'm not talking about the profit. We're talking about the pips. If you size the profits around, we're talking about pips. Whether you just, if you're £1 million or 10 rand in, if you've got a 10 pip profit, that's the constant. 10 pips amongst all. The other guy will have a standard lot. You might have a micro. It's still 10 pips. What I'm basically saying is you've reduced your stop was up here, and you can still, it might not be an entry. You can certainly reduce it. Are you getting this? It's pretty basic stuff here. But you certainly can modify, but I'm not sure you're getting this. The modification, got it now, good. The modification is keeping distance. Don't give you a profit. If you're in a small profit, you suddenly take it, you're wasting your time. You've got to give it a chance, right? And number two, if you put your stop at 99, let's say 72 or 75, it's too close. The noise, the up and down noise will knock you out. You've got to keep a distance. $10 below. What's it doing now? I haven't even looked at it. I've got mine, I haven't chased it now. $10 below. I'll tell you where mine is. I'll put gold on. There we are. Show what I mean. There up. My stop loss is pretty close now. We're long on gold, and that's my stop loss is the red is my entry is the green dots. That's my stop. It's just below. Mine's at 1996, but it went to 2006 and just before 4 o'clock, and I'm modifying it to 1996. You modify it to entry. What price to get in at? Marley, what price to get in on gold? Come on, doesn't take long. Snap it out there. Bang, bang, bang. Ah, you got it, and Tommy, good. That's what you need. Now she's getting it. I think the sheet, the guy, I'm sorry. That's great because they're asking now they're getting it. That's the important part. Sorry, Marley, what price do you get in? I cannot without that data. Fine. 1992, make your stop 1993. Then you covered your costs. You don't make any money, I'm sorry, but at least you're not losing. 2000's got a hold, great. If it doesn't, it could come back. What's the DXY doing? It's hovering, it's still low. I'm not sure we'll drive it down there, but stranger things have happened. I look at the yields again, what the yields doing, they're still low. They're still low, so stranger things have happened, but it should hold around the 2000 before another leg up. I don't know, but that's what I think. So 1993, you cover your costs and you're okay. You can sleep on gold. You either don't make anything or you make money. It's not a way they got the losing. You get my point. Good stuff in Tomby. See what she did? I think it's a shift, so he correct me. Interacted and learned. You sent me a WhatsApp, Paul. I didn't have time to look at it because I'm in the trading room, so give me a second. I'll have a quick look now. It's on my computer. I'll have a quick look. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay. I want to explain about the bonus. I'm not interested in the bonus. I'm interested in your money. I'll explain why in a minute. That's fine. I'll upload you afterwards. No problem with that, Paul. I don't count the bonus. The bonus, as far as I know, only lasts for a month, and it's just there to help your trading. It's not yours. You can't withdraw it. You can't touch it. Any profits you keep, share. That's no problem there. But you can't withdraw it or anything like that. It's just purely there to aid you to get your trading and any profits you keep. Yeah, so there it is. But your money is where it counts. It's not a free gift. Okay. In fact, I'll give you a little tip, guys. Anything for free, be rather wary of. If a stranger comes up and gives you some for free, be very wary. Would you give somebody, a complete stranger, some for free? You want some in return. It's got to be some sort of trade-off. We help you, but you've got to help us as well. Yeah, that sort of thing. Okay, so 2000 seems to be holding, so that's fine. Don't say you should buy it in. No, it's not a trade idea. Talking about the guys in 1992, that's fine. I got about that as well, by the way. So I've got mine at 96, still in, as you can see. So I'll make a couple of bucks. Mine's probably a bit close, as it turns out, but I put it $10 below originally. I'm leaving it there. I'm not going to bring it back. I'm leaving it there. For you, 1993, that's my suggestion. It's up to you, of course. And then hopefully it'll get some recovery. Okay, right. Just go back again. Does everyone understand about part closing? If they don't, I'll do it again. Now look at Microsoft. You see the figure there is 10, not 0.1 or whatever. It's 10. Completely different. How can we do that? Let's go to a GBP. It doesn't really matter. They're all the same. Go to currency. It says 100,000 contract. Now go to a share. Any share will do this. A share. What's the specification say? Contract size is 1. That's a little bit smaller than 100,000, hey guys? So when you go into a share, it's a very, very different volume size. It doesn't have to be 10. I mean, I've got a slightly bigger account. Not enormous, it's okay. But yeah, it doesn't have to be 10, but it's certainly not 0.01. That's for other stuff, not for shares, okay? You get the idea. That is when you go and you get your Excel risk reward. You get that off your LMS from Stock Market College, and then you put in the figures there, and that will give you your calculations for shares. If you don't know where to find it, ask your account manager. The number is on the portal if you don't already have it. And so I think it's resource. I don't subscribe because I don't need to, obviously not. But I believe so. It's a separate company, but ask your account manager, they'll help you out. Okay, but please don't put this calculator up if you're going to go in a share. And if you don't even share in a currency, you've got to go to classes. That's basic stuff that they'll teach you. That's what you paid Stock Market College. Not paying me, you're paying them for it. It's up to them to teach you. All the stuff there, there's videos, there's all there. It's a highly approved course. And on top of it, they've got classes. But if you don't open it up, don't go to the classes, then it's a chance you pass the exams without studying. Well, obviously it's reduced. Okay, I'll go to it. Right, let's do a quick recap again. I'm not worried about NGAS, let it run. GBP CHF. GBP CHF. There's a bit of a bounce happens. I've got my stop in there. No, sorry, my stop's the red line. That's where the price is at the body there, the red line. And my sort of dash dot thing there is where my stop is. Maybe a bit close, but it was all right there. But I'm leaving my stop there. See, it's below entry, or should I say better than entry, although it's the wrong term, better than entry. So I will make money on it. Depends if it gets stopped out there or it goes further down to my TP, which is down here. Let's see what happens, but it's in a profit anyway. Okay, hope we're all getting these concepts. CAD JPY I've discussed, that's fine. WTI is doing well. It's on its way to the TP, 76.40. Just beware what I said. It just held there. Look at that. See, it had a little bit of profit. Can you see the wick there? Can you see the wick? Someone's joining a bit late now. Pietro, good stuff. Okay, see the wick there? It's a little bit of a bounce off the 100. Good thing about that, it shows they have value with moving averages. See how people respond to them. Add a bit of value. What is the size of the bounce? 15 minutes, short term. Had a bounce. Buyers came in. Had a bounce. You see what I'm thinking, guys? Sellers came in. Had a bounce, sellers came in. Even the last 1 minute. Remember, it's a 15-minute candle, opened up at 5:15. In 1 minute, bounced a little bit. Sellers almost immediately came in. That's a good omen for WTI. So hopefully it's going to break through the daily and hit your TP. It's looking good, put it that way. No guarantees, you know. Happy with that? So WTI is doing adjustment carefully. Okay, what else we got here? Dollar Swiss franc is another one we got. It was yesterday. Swissy, we call it in short. That's okay. 30 pips in profit. Where's my stock? Can I modify it a little bit more? Put it a little bit up on the 4 hour. No, I've already done that. Sorry, that's my stop. That's my entry. There's my stop, so I've modified it. So it's a little bit close because I modified it when it was down there to this level here. It's a bit close, but I'm not changing it. If you want to modify, I think it's a bit close. Rather modify it to 89.75. 89.75 to protect yourself against any loss on the dollar Swiss franc. Okay. Yeah, stuff to do, Peter, no problem. Okay, so there we are. Anything else? I think that's the lot. Covered the open trade for the moment. So looking pretty good. Okay. Right. Are you all good, Peter? I think asked me a question. I've forgotten what's going on. Anyone clarity on that? I think it was in the chat line. Are you all good, or do you want me to show you something here? Or hope I know the answer to before I get too cute. But are you all good now, or any questions? I keep calling you Pietro. Is it Pito or Pietro? I think it's Pito you got up there. Oh, calculate your margin. You don't calculate the margin. The margin is set by the company. I want to explain that. I'm going to go to the US dollar CAD. Why on earth? It's happened to be in front of me. Doesn't matter. Right click, left click on specification. You all know that now. So the margin is written down there. If you're saying, how do I calculate my leverage? That's a different question. How do you calculate your leverage? You divide that figure where the cursor is into 100. I can luckily do it off the top of my head. 0.003 into 100 is about 333 to 1. That is the leverage. But it's a 500 to 1 account. Why is it 33 to 1? 500 is what it's called. 100 is what it's called. You need to know on the individual instrument what your leverage is, margin, by just going into the specifications. Let's try something else. Let's try Tesla. Right click, left click, all of them are 5%. Okay, so we go down there. Contract size is 1, not 100,000, 1. All the shares at 0.05, which means it's 5%. What's 5 to 100? 20. So the leverage on the US dollar CAD, what I looked at a minute ago, was 333 to 1. On mine, it might be different if 100 to 1 account. Just check it out by dividing the margin to 100. Simple. Take that figure, put in your calculator, put 100, divide it by that figure, and give you a leverage. Divide 5 into 100. Hopefully you do it off the top of your head. 5 to 100 is 20. So leverage is 20 on that one. Let's look at something else. Let's look at gold. Give an idea. Sort of rub it in, but other guys got to see how it works. Left click, right click, specifications. What is the leverage here? 0.009. That's about, that's 10%, 1%, well, it's 9. Look at that. What's that in? It's 100 into that. It's 0.01 into 100. That can't be right. Yeah, that's right. That's about 100 to 1 leverage. Just over, it's about 110 to 1 leverage off the top of my head. It's just nearly 1%. So 1% to 100 is literally 100 to 1. So it's slightly more than the 100 to 1 leverage. So that's how you work out your leverage. When it comes to actually the position size calc, it's got nothing to do with it. All you do with the position size calc, you write down, I've got 5 grand in balance in my account. I've got only a 1 or 2 open positions, so I have no problem with free margin. Check. Have I got plenty of free margin? No problem there. Number 1. Number 2, what am I prepared to risk? Then you say, Roger, what should I risk on 5 grand? I say between 300 and maybe 325, somewhere around about that. If you're happy with that, great. Then you turn around and say, I hear you, I'm a little bit nervous, I only want to risk 250. Then you risk 250. Mental health is everything. You got to be happy with it. So you say 250. Now you put down here the figure. Let's go long on this trade. What we're going to make the stop loss, make it a realistic one. So the example, guys, don't think this is a trade idea. No, it's an example to teach you something. Hopefully it's going to be, make it 80. 80. Yeah, 88.80. Want to make the T. People going long, make it 9.1. And then you click on the blank part there, and it gives you the risk for 0.01. Now you've got 5 grand. Roger, I asked him, and he suggested 3 to 320. 135 times 2 is 270. That's $400. That's going to be too much at 0.03, so you have to go for 0.02. The margin leverage is only relevant if you're very, very tight on free margin. That's the point. Okay. However, if I'm not going too quick on this, no problem. Good go for parents meeting. I understand that. No problem, Paul. Good stuff. I'll WhatsApp you after anyway. Okay. Now, one of the time the margin might be of relevance is because it's a very high margin. I'm going to choose platinum. I hope we've got it up here to show you. Yeah, we have. Look at platinum. Left click, right click, specification. The problem with platinum is it's a much higher margin. So this is a 5 to 1 and 100 to 1. It's in the region of 12%. It's a high margin. So therefore, even though you think you got enough free margin and the risk reward means you can go for, let's say, 0.0 whatever, just means because the deposit is higher, it's going to something that's going to knock your free margin. No risk. It just means you got less free margin to play with. Does that make sense? Because it's got to, because this basic mathematics or arithmetic is not understood by most, and it's essential they understand it. Okay, it's like not understanding interest rates. I'll tell you what, Paul. He's just left now. Little Peter. What I'll do is I'm going to lend you 2,000 rand, and I'm going to charge you 200% per annum. That means nothing to you. So no problem at all. No, you'd say absolutely not. That's a ridiculous high interest rate. So you've got to know the basic arithmetic. Okay. Are we clear on that now, Pete? Okay, good. Now you got it P-I-E-T-O. I thought it's P-E-I-R-T-O. Is it Pito or Petro? What is the correct name? I want to put the right name. Pietro. I thought it was. Peter. I never heard Peter before. I've heard Peter. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, I thought it might be a typo. Not a problem. At least I thought it by a proper name. Okay, good stuff. At least we cleared that up. Thanks for joining. Any questions, guys? Just before we finish up, don't forget, no afternoon tomorrow, only morning tomorrow. So morning session 9:30, but no afternoon session. Are we good? All learned stuff, even the newer guys, Lawrence and that, you felt you learned something? Happy you got what value from the trading room, Lawrence? And anybody new here? I think most of the new guys already run off in a huff. Oh, you're good. Okay, all right, fantastic, guys. If you like what you saw and you think there's going to be some value going forward, please join me on a regular basis. We can take it from there. Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Barney. Cheers. Cheers. I thought I lost Festus. He's just come back. Must have been internet. Hello, Festus. Sorry about that. I thought we lost you. I'm glad you came back. I think it might have been an internet problem, a load shedding and all that's causing us a lot of grief. People through load shedding have to leave or lose the internet, but we got you back. Unfortunately, we're just closing up now. Close at 5:30. But at least we touched sides. Please make it a regular basis. I'm doing this again tomorrow morning. Oh, sorry, before you guys who don't know this leave, just hang on a second. If you miss or something like that, go to the portal, scroll down the menu to social media. On YouTube, you'll see the recordings of all the trading rooms there with the date and times. Just for those who didn't know that, at least you can go back to it. But it's an ongoing process. Please join, and great to have you back, Festus. I thought we'd lost you. Fantastic. Okay, guys, catch you those who can make it tomorrow. Cheers.